Peace and blessings, family, and welcome back to another episode of Heal with Angelica Waters podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And on today's episode, I have 8 guests joining me today: writer, entrepreneur, and digital creator Alex Charismatic, as we'll be discussing today's topic, the love value. 50 conversations for every relationship that needs healing. Alex, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
Thank you for having me once again. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. How you feel?
Yes, I feel great. Thank you for asking. Now, before we get started on today's amazing topic, do you mind letting us know just a little bit more about you?
Yes. Digital creator, semi entrepreneur, trying to go full entrepreneur. Based out of Houston, Texas. I do some writing on my free time, and yeah, just trying to take it day by day, man, and live life to the best of my abilities, and make sure that I'm staying on my dean.
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let's get started on today's topic, the love value, which is a book you wrote about 50 conversations for every relationship that needs healing. In relationships, in relationships, cultivating the fine art of asking questions opens up communication. Our genuine questions show interest in the value that we have for our partner's experiences. That brings me to my first question for you, Alex. Why is proper communication in a relationship necessary?
Why is it necessary? Well, if we think about it, I don't think I think this is something that should be taught first by our parents. But like
Mm-hmm.
if we think about it, when we go to school in elementary school, we wasn't taught how to properly communicate and resolve our issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that could be something that could be within the curriculum. You know what I mean? Of how to properly communicate with one another and resolve issues. Like if you get into a fight at school, they just kick you out of school for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Or however they do it now, but they just kick you out, and then you go home, you sit there, and then you come back, and that's it. Or they, send you to ISS or um, which is in school suspicion. But communication is important because that's the doorway of all understanding. So I think that's why it's important. To sum up everything and make it real short and sweet, communication is the doorway to all understanding. I mean,
Absolutely.
what everything is communication, body language, words, even we got visual communication, the way you see things and the way you interpret it. That's a form of communication, I believe. I was actually reading this book. I cannot remember the name of the book, but I was reading this book and it was talking about how words, they was breaking down words. And so what a word is made up of letters.
Mm-hmm.
Letters are made up of sound. Sound is made up of frequencies. So if I'm not liking the way you said something, I'm not liking the tone, the frequency that is in. And so I know, like, we spoke, before we got on the podcast, as I told you, like, one of my beliefs is that I don't believe in arguing. I don't even believe like a conversation should even get to that point.
Mm.
Because when you're arguing, that means it's kind of like little to no understanding in that moment. So communication is the doorway to all understanding.
Absolutely, and I
Did I
definitely
answer that?
yes, you did. I love it. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely the doorway to understanding communication. Because if you don't have the proper communication, how are you going to understand what it is that your partner I'm sorry, need or want out of the relationship. So,
Right. Right. That's facts.
absolutely. So, I want us to get a little bit into it more about your book, The 50 Conversations, The Love Value. Do you mind letting our audience know, like, exactly what was it that sparked your idea for this book?
I want to be honest. It wasn't a thing to where like, oh, I want to write a book. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be an author. It really came from me crying like nights at a time. Just looking at our people and how we lack proper communication styles and how we struggle with communication and with inside of our relationships. Like what really hit home for me is just seeing what my mom has gone through in her relationships and what I've gone through in my relationships. Like that's what really I believe God put it on my spirit to have that desire to want to make a change.
Mm.
And so from that desire to want to make a change within my own self and within our community, that's what sparked the interest to say, okay, man, I want to give back. I want to give my perspective and my insight on how I believe a relationship should be, because I believe a relationship should be heaven on earth.
Mm.
That's really my belief. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
if it's not heaven on earth, then what are we doing? Like, what are we in this for? And so the questions that's in that book is very hard questions. It's very
Mm-hmm.
hard questions. Like, you're gonna have to come to reality with these questions. You know what I mean? And if someone reads it at the bottom, they'll notice like the psychology behind asking that question. You know what I mean? So the interest started from just going through hurt and pain, to be honest.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. Now, do you believe that you could base one's value from the 50 questions that are asked in this book,
What
in
you
your
mean
book?
by value?
As far as you asking your partner or significant other or someone that you are planning on dating, just off these questions, do you believe that you can see one's value?
Of course. It's the love value. It's the measurement. Of course. Like, that's why I suggest, everyone that like watches this podcast to check it out for yourself and see how do you measure up to it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? I mean it's like 50 something questions in there. So how do you measure up to it? What's your perspective on it?
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely get the value of your own self and the value of another person just by studying it, because it's really a study guide.
Mm.
It's really a study guide, because if you was to ask those questions to somebody today and they'll give you an answer, and you ask those same questions to that same person 5 years from now, their answers may change.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a study guide, and with time, hopefully our value within our inner self increases. And I think that's a good point. When your value increases within yourself, then your relationships change for the better.
Ooh. I like that.
It's true. It's true.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like, wouldn't you agree? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
You elaborate. Why do you think it makes sense?
I mean, it makes sense to me because, I mean, you have to understand what comes out of being able to ask these questions, and you have to to me, I feel like it all starts with you. So you have to always go back to checking within yourself. So even though you asking these questions to your partner, look at yourself. Do you measure up to these same values that you're asking for?
Right.
So start
Right.
turning inward. Because I'm all about, not all about it, but I believe in manifestation, and I believe like attracts like, and what you put out is what you get back. So as you're asking your partner these serious questions before wanting to get in a relationship, it's also, like you said, a study guide for yourself to see, you know, do you measure up to these questions as well? So
Right.
I
It
like
all.
how you went back with me. Said, see how I thought about that.
Yeah, of course. It all starts with self. It all
Mhm.
starts with self. Like, and just a proper realization of how you view yourself, because a lot of what we're seeing right now in our community, and I think you would attest to this, is that within the black community, it's kind of like we had this attitude of "I don't need you."
Ooh.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
especially in the music, we can hear that. You know what I mean? That for the female rappers, they talking about how they don't need a man,
Yeah.
and then for the male rappers, they talking about how they don't need such and such and so and so, or they got plenty of such and so and so.
Mhm.
I mean, so with that attitude of "I don't need you" and "we don't need each other," that leaves the broken people. So
Exactly.
when we start to learn that, hey, you know what? I actually do need you. I actually do need to treat you with some dignity and some respect.
Mhm.
Then we will see a paradigm. We will see a shift, a change. Like we say, okay, the nation can rise no higher than its woman. Well, how do the woman view herself?
Mm.
Right? How does she view herself? Do
Ooh.
she view herself as a bad bee? Well, if you calling yourself a bee, you really can't get mad at me calling you a bee.
Well, hey,
You get what I'm saying? Like, come on, we got to
you
be
said
fair.
it.
Let's be fair. I like to
Let's
be
be
fair.
honest.
You get what I'm saying? And so, if the woman is viewing herself in a positive way and to a higher standard, then we have no choice but to respect that.
Mhm.
It all circles back around to self and to the woman for real. If we really like respected our women like how we say we respect our mothers, we would probably have little to no problems.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I love how you went in on that because, as a woman, I see it all the time as well. We say we want these things from our men, but how do we look at ourselves as women? Like are we really putting in that effort to get the respect that we think that we deserve? You
Let me.
know?
You right. Let me ask you a question. Do you think women that's in our age group, women in society today in general, do you think women are understanding um the importance of how they should view men? Because I ask that because like when I read books from women authors, I learn
Mhm.
about myself as a man.
Mhm.
The more I study women, the more I learn about me. It's
Ooh.
it's like that opposites attract type of thing. So when I read upon Queen Afua, right, I read some of her books or just different female authors and get the woman's perspective. I
Mhm.
learned like, wow, I need to change this about me as a man. I need to update this about myself. This is what women looking for. Okay, this is what women need. Let me tap into that. You know what I mean? Let me
Right.
tap into that. So, like, for you, from your perspective, do you feel like women are knowing what men need?
No, they don't know what I don't. I believe that, like you said earlier, like became um we have became programmed in this mindset as if we don't need a man. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't need a man. I need me a man, to balance me out. Just like,
Right.
we gotta understand why we were created to balance each other out. Like, so I think based off just society in general and just what society has portrayed on our women, then it's a big, big misunderstanding of how to be a woman to a man, because we think that we can do it all by ourselves and we don't need a man. Like we can pay our own bills, take care of our own children. Like, no, that's completely wrong. So
Yeah.
I
And it's like, yo,
mhm.
who taught you that?
Society.
Right. Right.
Hello,
Society.
society,
So society.
society, and society. I'm not gonna lie. In some of our, I ain't gonna say, I'm being honest. Like, our parents.
Yeah.
You seen like, there's a lot of single moms out here. So you seen your mom. I don't know about your mom, nothing, anything like that. But like, if your mom was single, or a single mom, or you see a single mom in general, you just be like, dang, like they did everything by themselves. They independent. Then that's how I'm gonna grow up. That's how I'm gonna be. And
Mm.
in a way, that shows itself within that child when that child grows up and how they act in their relationship. You know,
Right.
so yeah,
The
it's
roles have been reversed because the way you was describing it, the picture that popped up in my mind is that that's a masculine role. If you're taking care of a child all by yourself and you want to be strong, you want to be independent, that's kind of masculine. You know what I mean? It's like
ooh,
you taking on things that you shouldn't be doing by
exactly.
yourself. So now you have to put in more power, more effort. You have to do way more things to uh to play out that role.
Mhm.
And you have to kind of like get into your masculinity. You know what I mean? Because like men, we have masculine energy and we have estrogen as well. Women, y'all have estrogen and y'all have testosterone as well. So it is possible for y'all to tap into that masculinity. And if society has taught you to be that way, to be independent and to do it all by yourself and you don't need the man. Matter of fact, kick him out your house.
Matter of fact, like,
Matter of fact,
yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
and
like
that
it,
and
it's
that's where the broken homes come in. That's where like all the problems happen at, because I believe that, especially the power that a black man and black woman has, just being together and how they can co-create and then create, you know, other beautiful guys. Like it's such a beautiful powerhouse with a man and woman together. I believe that society doesn't want to see that. So, and it's funny how you brought up um, feminine, like feminine energy and negative. Like, we all got both sides. However, you see how the roles are being reversed. Like, no, I feel as if when that time come, I find me my mate. I want to be able to be in my feminine energy. I don't want to feel like I have to be doing a man's job.
right.
But it's you went in deep with that. I definitely understand.
It's a lot to it, yeah. And
Mhm.
I want to say one more thing, before you continue.
Go
And
ahead. Mhm.
this is really on my heart. I want to say this, and I don't mean no disrespect at all by this, but like, I really hope that one day we will all get out of the mindset of, if this man does me wrong one time, that I'm gonna just leave him and no more of him and forget him. Okay, fine. If that's what you choose to do, you have every right to do that.
Mhm.
But since I'm really trying to help my people stay together,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way to go about doing it. If this man is a really good guy and he slipped up one time, maybe two, are you really gonna say, you know what? Get your stuff out, pack your bags, take the children with you. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Now you're gonna put the court in our life, and that's too much going on, man. I'd rather us resolve our issues on our own.
Mhm.
If it's therapy, if it's counseling that we need to go to, let's do that. So that's all I wanted to say. I kind of want to throw that out there because
Well, I'm
a
glad
lot
you
of
threw
women,
that out there.
huh?
So I'm glad you threw that out there.
Yeah, like man, that's unrealistic. Now you
Mhm.
single again by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
And
but
I,
I'm not saying, let this man take advantage of you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying think about it. Be more realistic. Try everything else before you get to kicking this man out of your house.
and letting it go, let the relationship go.
If he's a
That's
good guy.
what. Yeah. That, and it's funny you brought that up. It kind of brought me back to the episode I had with Brother Nuri when he said like you write a list out of what it is that you want in your mate or something like that, and if it's like 5 out of 10, like good. Like if it's like none, then okay, be done with them. But I just feel like because of the child, the childhood traumas, and I believe that since we as adults have portrayed the narrative of our parents and their narratives of what they got, we have been subconsciously picking up habits that are harmful to where we believe, I won't say it's harmful either. It's just the fact that we don't know how to give good discernment in regards to what it is that we want from a man or a woman. You're a man or you're a woman. Like because like if it's I think it's a way to it's a way to be guarded. Like that's what women do. Like okay, I've been hurt so many times. Like he do one thing, I'm not about to like. I don't care what it is,
Right.
one little thing. It's okay, but then again, it's not because even if you do mess up, men, and women, we're not perfect. We're striving to be perfect each and every day, but based off the foundation you and your partner has built, is it worth throwing it away?
Is
Because
it
here's the
worth it?
thing.
Yeah. Is it worth
Yeah.
it?
Mhm.
I like what you said, discernment. You gotta have that discernment. So we gotta bring the spiritual part into this. Cause the only way you can really grow in discernment is if you grow closer to God, if you believe in God.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? As if you believe in a higher power. So if you believe in that higher power, he can be the one to give you that discernment
There you go.
to let you know, like, okay, is this worth it? Is this worth throwing years and years away because it is one mistake?
You're right. I like that. And as we're talking about this brought me to a few questions that I had for you.
Let's do it.
This also in your book. Now, do you think trust could be rebuilt with someone that has lied?
So yeah, that's one of the questions in the book. uh, so for me, I'm a very honest person, like very honest, and I gotta make it personal now. So like, well, did you make that question personal, or you just asking in a general sense?
I mean, Answer it the best you feel like needs to be answered. I
Okay,
love
I'm
hearing
gonna give
self.
both.
So yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
I'm gonna give both. So I think for me personally, do I think trust can be rebuilt with a person that has lied to me? Uh, it depends on how many times they've lied. So I can understand like if we're just starting out
Mhm.
and we're getting to know one another, and I ask you a question and you kind of lie about it, tell a little lie, and by the time I come around to that same question and you give me a different answer, like I would have known that you lied about that. It depends on how big the lie is for me personally. It
Mm.
depends on how big the lie is, and then how often is
Mm.
this something that you continuously to do.
Yeah.
Now, if I find out that you lied to me, I'm gonna tell you, hey, you don't have to do that. I'm gonna let the person know, like, you don't have to lie to me. You could be open and honest, because I'm open and honest. I want us to have heaven on earth. And before we get to heaven, we got to go through hell first,
Mm.
you know? So,
Wow.
yeah, we got to go through hell first. So, there's really no point in you lying to me. That's if you trying to get to heaven, just like how I am. You get what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
living in this false reality when you lie. So for me personally, it depends on if they're going to continue to do that and how big it is. And so when you say, can we rebuild something? You can't build anything on falsehood.
Ooh. My God.
You can't build anything good on falsehood. So we got to be
Whoa.
truthful and honest here. And honesty hurts sometimes.
It does.
You know what I mean? But it's really, really good at the end of the day, because now you give yourself and that other person the freedom to make a choice on whether they want to continue or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm. Mhm.
So
I love.
that's me personally, you know what I mean? I can rebuild trust with a person that has lied to me before, but I can't rebuild trust that with a person that continues to keep lying.
Exactly. There
Yeah,
you go.
it don't work like that.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it don't work like that. It don't work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the grace. I'm gonna give you the grace to tell me one lie, maybe two. But after I didn't explain to you that I'm a little bit different, you can be a lot more open with me,
Mhm.
and you continue to do that, then I'm gonna just take that for what it is, and I'm not gonna trust you.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, that's deep. I think somebody needed to hear that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah,
wait.
yeah. Somebody needed to hear that one. Somebody needed to hear
Yes, yes, yes. So we're gonna get go ahead and narrow this down a little bit, but I had a few more questions. I just wanted to know. This is a big one. What are your thoughts on sex before commitment?
that. Yeah, that is a good one. All right. So as a man, I do understand that men, we have a tendency to fall into our temptations. I think for women is probably a little bit easier for them to like restrain themselves.
Yeah.
For men, we kind of fall into temptation more, I believe. But I think it's a good thing for both parties to withstand from sex before marriage. I think it's healthy for us men to, if I could be frank, like if I could be honest and real, there's power in semen. And so when you let go of that by releasing, that takes away the man's energy. And so I believe it's like a scientific fact that when you are able to withhold it and keep that discipline, it gives your spirit and mind more power, more ability to focus on the things you need to focus on. Because to be honest, like, a woman can be a distraction to a man that's trying to like be on his purpose. And so if we're out playing with women, chasing them around, trying to have sex with them without any purpose behind that, then we're failing. We're failing ourselves as a man, and we're failing that woman, because if a child comes up out of that and we wasn't ready, then now there's problems.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's really a good thing for both parties to withstand. And I'm speaking from experience. It ain't like I ain't just talking. I'm speaking from experience. Like me, I've had women for sure, and I'm definitely not a virgin. And so I've learned with time and with experience to like say to myself, you know what, withstanding is better. That's what I find.
Yeah.
That's what I find. It gives me more focus. I'm not, because like men, and I too can speak on this from experience. I used to think that sex didn't affect men, but it does. I used to think like we could just have sex with any woman we want to and not be in our emotions, and you know what I mean? We can just do whatever and it won't affect us like how it affects the woman. But it does affect us. It does affect us. Whether we realize it or not, it does affect us. And it's only until you stop having sex, those thoughts will come into your mind of like just different creative ideas. You start learning about yourself way more when you're not giving yourself to somebody sexually, because sex is a spiritual thing. You're definitely sharing your energy with another person. You're definitely giving yourself to another person. And so if you're giving yourself to the wrong individual, you're depleting yourself spiritually.
Ooh.
You know? So my thoughts on sex before marriage, I believe we all should get enough discipline and wait. That's not to say we won't ever slip up, but I think that we should definitely pray more, fast more, and get enough strength to say, you know what, I'm good. I'm chilling. Like I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm not doing that. I'm focusing on me. I'm trying to better me. And when I better me, I'm gonna attract somebody that's like myself, and we're gonna become a powerful couple together.
I love it. Oh my God. That was deep. Definitely something that needed to be discussed.
Yeah. So my message to the men out there, hey men, try to chill out for a couple days. Try to chill out for a couple weeks, couple months, and see how you start to feel. It's okay to not have sex. You don't have to be on every woman. You don't got to do that. You don't got to try to chase down every woman you see. It's okay. I know that, you know, the way we're brought up and taught as men is kind of delusional. You know, we think that it's perfectly fine and healthy to have multiple sex partners. But man, you know what? To me, you're even more solid when you can deny sex as a man. That's way more respectable to a woman when she see that you don't have to have sex with her.
Way more respectable and way more attractive.
Come on.
Like to be able to have that discipline. Like, ooh, Lord, you said no to me? Okay, well then. All right.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's attractive. It's a try, and I want to say this to the men too. Like, if you say no to a woman and she doesn't get turned on by that like turns her off, and she may think like something wrong with you, or like she just get upset, then that's probably not the woman for you.
Mm. Woo. Why are you doing this, Alex? You doing too much. Okay. They
I
wasn't
mean,
any ready to hear this. Okay.
hopefully somebody will get something from this. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to let higher power speak through me
Mm.
for real, because it's a lot for us to grow. It's a lot for us to grow. So we got to get deep.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, that was amazing, Alex. Thank you so much for elaborating on that. And I also want to thank my healing tribe for joining us today.
We got one more
I
question, right?
Oh no, I mean it was.
The soulmate question.
Oh, you want to get on the soulmate question?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people out there that believe in this soulmate thing. I kind of
Well,
wanted to expound on it a little bit if I could.
well, I'm sorry, audience. My guest wants to talk about the soulmate. I did have that question. I did forget about it. So let's talk about the soulmate. So, what does a soulmate look like to you, and what exactly should one be looking for?
Yeah. So for me, for Alex Charismatic, for me personally, of course I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, a soulmate is someone who matches my mindset,
Mm.
my heart, and my spirit. So if I see that this person is on the same thought frequency as me, and their heart is similar to my heart, and their spirit is similar to my spirit, then that's a soulmate. We move in on one accord.
Oh.
There is very little difference in us. There will be some differences for sure, because no one is like exactly alike. But as long as we're very similar and we're moving on one accord, that's a soulmate. Now, each three of those things, mindset, heart, and spirit, those three things could be like broken down into many other different compartments. Like we can get very, very detailed with that. But just those three, I think that would be a soulmate to me. And you can have multiple soulmates now. Just because I don't think that you're only limited to just one person, because if you think about it, most of us didn't have sex with just one person. In our lifetime,
Mhm.
in our lifetime, it's been multiple people. So you liked multiple people. Some people fell in love with multiple people. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I do understand that a soulmate is a little bit different. That's a person that you would want to marry. But even in marriage, like some people got married once, twice, three times, four times. You know what I mean? So it's all about your perspective on what a soulmate is to you. But I do believe God is capable of sending you someone else. Like, let's say your wife or your husband passed away. That was your soulmate, right? Let's say. But let's say they passed away. Well, now God needs to replenish you believe, right? You're asking God again for another one. Now God needs to go out and find you another what? Another soulmate. So I believe that soulmates doesn't have to be just limited to one person. As long as that person is matching your mindset, your heart, and your spirit, and y'all are on one accord and striving for perfection, that's your soulmate.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Whew, that was deep. You've been coming in deep with it, brother. I thank you so much for that.
I thank you for allowing me
Yes.
to go in this way. Yeah.
Mm.
I,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So again, thank you again for joining me today, Alex, and discussing this amazing topic, the love value. I would also like to give a special thank you to my amazing audience and healing tribe for joining us today. I pray this episode was informative and valuable to you all. Also, be sure to give us your feedback, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes on any of your favorite podcast stations and or on my YouTube channel, Chill with Angelica Waters Podcast, to help get the message out to those in need of healing. Also, if you or anyone you know is suffering from anxiety and depression, please join me in my 12-week group coaching program where I work with you hands-on to combat your anxiety and depression and so much more. I guarantee life-changing results. Alex, before we end today's show, do you have any closing remarks for today's audience?
yes, I do. Excuse me. I would say if there's anyone out there who's looking for a change, and I believe all of us are looking for some type of change, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical. We want to lose weight. We want to grow in our finances. It can literally be anything. I would say find a source of strength. I believe that source of strength, the most powerful one, is God.
Hmm.
Um, for somebody else, it may be something different. It may be a mentor. It may be, Miss Angelica Waters, right? Uh, so I would say find something. Maybe you could find it in the love value, the book, but find something to where you can pull some source of energy from, some spirituality from, and grow on that to get the results that you're looking for. And just keep elevating, day by day. Try to incorporate positive things into your life, into your day, every day.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it, Alex. Thank you so much for that. I will also leave a link in the description so you guys can connect with my brother Alex and check out his book, The Love Value 50 Conversations. So, again, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and we leave you guys as we came. Peace and blessings.
Thank you.